Culture, society, ethnocentrism, and cultural relativism. This photo represents as culture, society, ethnocentrism, and cultural relativism. This photo represents with different cultures in different parts of the world, while the other countries have different also cultures, religion, beliefs, practices, morals, education, and others. In other countries, when we speak about hello, others say hola, yaya, abju, hello, cow, hey, hold, salia, bet. This is also represent as our human geography in different language. For you, what is values? When we speak about values, this refers to the honesty, trust, work balance, growth, achievement, consistency, commitment correctness, accountability, personal growth, and others. The importance of values. Our values inform our thoughts, words, and action. Our values are important because they help us to grow and develop. They help us to create the future we want to experience. Every individual and every organization is involved in making hundreds of decisions every day. The decisions we make are a reflection of our values and beliefs, and they are always directed towards a specific purpose. That purpose is the satisfaction of our individual.
Drives me insane.
Example of cultural values. When we speak about cultural values, we refer for the spiritual values. When we speak about spiritual values, this refers to our religion, belief, faith, and others. When we speak about use values, this refers to our material things, like for example, uses of computers, televisions, outing, places, and so on. When we speak about lifestyle values, this refers to our cultural values, like for example, mano po, kisses and hug with our parents, and at the same time, po and opo to our elders. When we speak about place values, we are referring for the place that we want to go. Like for example, in malls, in old parks, heritage park, or history parks. While ethical values, this refers to our moral conduct in our life. When we say about good moral, these are refers for the good citizen in our country. That's all. For you, what is a norm? When we speak about norm, this refers about the social behavior, common practices, belief, follow moral lesson, refer for the action, or conditional empirical. Why we think that norm is very important in our society? Social norms. Social norms are generally defined as unwritten rules regarding how to act in a specific situation. Social norms help delineate what is acceptable behavior. For example, it is not acceptable to be loud and boisterous in academic classroom. However, it is acceptable to believe that way in amusement park. This is one of the examples of social norms. For example, it is not acceptable to be loud and boisterous in academic classroom. But in other social norms, shouting in a park is acceptable. Social norms. Social norms also vary between social groups. For example, someone's behavior with his peers most likely differs from his behavior with his teachers. This is because there are different norms associated with each situation, such as being casual and joking with friends. as opposed to being formal while talking to authority figures. Social norms helps people decide how to act in a given situation. Since there is an overwhelming multitude of behavior that one can engage in, social norms help people predict the action of others without being subjected to random, chaotic human behavior. Without social norms, humans would not know how to act in a specific situation, leaving them unable to interact understandably with each other. Another example of social. How do you say when no one offered an alcohol beverage? You will say, "No thanks. I don't drink." "No, I'm good. I don't want any." So these most willing township students choose not to drink. What is mores? Mores are the custom norms and behaviors that are acceptable to a society or social group. If your personal mores are in disagreement with local mores, you should be prepared to be annoyed every time you read the local letters to the editor. Cultural relativism is the idea that a person's belief, values, and practices should be understood based on the person's own culture, rather than be judged against the criteria of others. This is one of the examples of cultural relativism. Why is it that this photo represents as part of our cultural relativism? The other photo wearing sexy dress, two-piece, while the other wearing a Muslim dress. Everything covered but her eyes with cruel. The other one, nothing covered but her eyes with a cruel. So cultural is a social construct and relative to its own culture. For you, what is ethnocentrism? Ethnocentrism is the term anthropologists use to describe the opinion that one's own way of life is natural or correct. Some would simply call it cultural ignorance. Ethnocentrism means that one may see his or her culture as the correct way of living. For those who have not experienced other cultures in depth, can be said to be ethnocentric. If they feel that their lives are the most natural way of living, some cultures may be similar or overlap in ideas or concepts. This is one of the examples of ethnocentrism. Others say if they don't like the attitude or the color of the skin of a person, go back to Africa. If they don't want the attitude of the person or behavior, go back to the Mexico. And if they like or feel someone, then they stop talking. That's the reason why this is one of the examples of ethnocentrism. This is one example of ethnocentrism in our sociology. In one country, there are many lot of foreigners, like for example, Japanese, Chinese, Egyptian, Indian, and many others. What is xenophobia? Xenophobia, or fear of strange, is a broad term that may be applied to any fear of someone who is different from us. Hostility towards outsiders is often a reaction to fear. It is typically involved the belief that there is no conflict between an individual's in-group and out-group. Xenophobia overlaps with forms of prejudice including racism and homophobia, but there are important distinctions where racism, homophobia, and other forms of discrimination are based on specific characteristics. Xenophobia is usually rooted in the perception that members of the out-group are foreign into the in-group community. Ethnocentrism. This is one of the examples of culture shock. "I hate this culture," she said. Ethnocentrism refers to desire to engage in another elements of another culture rather than one's own. Style, ideas, and products can all be the items of preference by someone with xenocentrist viewpoints. Xenophobia. Have you ever felt that you are different from others? If you are a black or white? According to them, they said stop xenophobia. We are one nation. Love each other, please. That's why some other countries they feel racism, discrimination, and others. So that's the reason why they feel xenophobia in other countries. What causes of xenocentrism? Foreign influence on education. In many countries, especially underdeveloped, the contemporary education system is biased toward the foreign perspectives. Next will be the conservative rules. Many countries have laws which do not accommodate the sentiments of a certain section of the society. The other one, low-quality products. This is perhaps the most common cause for xenocentrism among people. Poor economic situation. When a particular country experiences a bad economic situation, the citizens of the respective country are bound to compare the economic policies of their country. Exposure to other cultures. When an individual is in constant contact with other cultures, it is almost impossible for him to avoid comparison between his culture and the foreign cultures. Material culture is defined as the segment of humankind's physical world that has been purposely made or modified, consciously and unconsciously, by people according to cultural dictate plans. So this photo represents as part of material culture, wherein this material uses in our ancient time and as of now. This is also believed this is a part of our history. Cultural heritage. Cultural heritage is an expression of the ways of living developed by a community and passed on from generation to generation, including customs, practices, places, objects, artistic expression, and values. Cultural heritage in the Philippines. So this photo represents as part of our cultural heritage in the Philippines. We are referring for example like Rizal Park, Boracay, Lakes, Cebu, Manila, and also you can find different foods from the Philippines like lechon, barbecue, and also part in Malabon. So this is one considered as our history and heritage in the Philippines. Example of cultural heritage in other countries, you see Eiffel Tower, Disneyland, Eiffel Tower, and even also the palace.